TML.
to the other side. It's gassy.
Did it open yet? Did you have rooms for us yet? Really?
Oh, they get in
We're all spread out.
No, I'm so tired of
I
that.
know, but you
I just
can't.
take pictures.
Ask Amber, you can't do any different. I let her take half of them, and I take half of them. The
Not-
very
not
first
TPO.
hotel, you might get in, and then you try to go back to that same hotel, it's full. So you gotta cleanse it now.
So where are we all at?
We're at the, well, we're at Sheraton,
You know,
the
Chico,
Hampton.
the lady that does.
I remember the first year I was here.
Chico doesn't.
Look, he brought his.
They didn't have enough. So hopefully I get those Chico people.
I don't need a full roof, I just need.
Were we supposed to?
Yes, I need these to have that.
Thank you.
Did you remember? Oh, sorry. I have been
Somebody
so-
doesn't read their email.
It would be me. I have been so.
I used to make the TPO.
I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order, please, and ask you all to stand for the invocation and the pledge. And I'm going to ask Bert tonight to offer our invocation.
Father in heaven, we thank you for the day that we've had today, and we especially appreciate the rain that we've had. Father, as we consider the items on our agenda tonight, we ask that you give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make proper decisions on that. Father, go with us through this meeting on through our lives. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me, Brett.
All right. Items of community interest. Anybody have anything they'd like to speak on? If not, we will move over to the city manager's report for the night.
The first item is the Rock and Pillar Street Bridge. The surveying and engineering work is proceeding for the Rock and Pillar Street Bridge project. I've not spoken to the engineer this past week, but we have been providing them with information from past drainage studies to ensure they have all the necessary details about water flow. Hopefully, we can eliminate flooding by straightening the creek and thereby eliminating the 90-degree turns that cause erosion and damage. I've started speaking with two different engineering firms about the installation of a new raw water pump at the lake as mandated by TCEQ. In a letter dated July the 18th, they indicated there had been no response from us for the pump requirement, so we let them know that we were reviewing proposals from two different firms. There should not be any more communication from them now that they know we're beginning to work on the project. We've been feeding information to both engineering firms, and hopefully they'll come up with a good plan and a good proposal. There's no news on the electric substation transformer project. We're still waiting on the switch the engineers forgot to order back last winter. We're ready to complete the project as soon as the switch arrives. We're probably looking at November or so before the thing is in use. There's going to be a time for testing, and when you power up a transformer like that, you just don't necessarily just hook it right up. You have to do a lot of testing with it. We want to make sure it works right. We, along with public management, are going to have a public meeting on Thursday, August the 21st. Mark that on your calendar at 6 p.m. We will be hosting a meeting to gather ideas from the council, city department heads, and the general public regarding the master plan project. It will be at the community center in the East Hall. So we'll have enough seating just in case we have a big crowd. I don't know if we will or not, but we'll see. Public management will gather information and ideas from everyone in attendance about what we envision as our community's future. I want to urge everyone's attendance at this meeting and ask everyone to bring their best ideas for what we want for Bowie. And the Texas Department of Agriculture has approved us to include the water line on Smythe Street from Montague to Wise Street. As soon as the contractor gets the change order signed, which they have signed it now, we got it today or yesterday, and they will be mobilizing next week to start the sidewalk project. Just be aware there'll be some traffic congestion in the area for the next few months, but the contractors assured us that it will be a fast-moving project. Anybody have any questions?
On that rock and pillar.
Pull your microphone
Oh,
down, Brandon.
sorry. On that rock and pillar, if we straighten that creek, have we considered what'll happen farther downstream with that water flowing faster?
Everything downstream from there is TxDOT built concrete culverts,
Okay.
so we don't have any problem.
Okay.
The-
So not gonna be flooding no private properties or anything?
I
but
don't
pushing that
think
water
so.
faster?
Yeah, it depends on how much rain. If it rains 15 inches in 5 hours, you know, it'd be, but, you know, given you know, we don't have 100-year rain, it should be adequate, because all those are TxDOT built, designed culverts that are downstream. At the intersection of Miller and Greenwood is a good bridge. On further down Greenwood, in my neighborhood, there's a good bridge. So, you know, we shouldn't have any problem.
All right, good deal.
I got something to ask Stoney. With the downtown project, have they put on their calendar that we have that downtown festival the first week of October, or is it going to affect that part?
I haven't seen their schedule yet, so I don't know.
So are we still doing some of the upgrades up there by the tree?
That, I haven't got back on that either.
Okay. We need to keep
I
that,
haven't talked to Brandon since the last time we spoke,
okay.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
I just want us to make sure that we keep that in mind, because, you know, all that's used, well, starting from Wise Street up.
They're gonna be here next week, so we can,
Yeah, let's make sure that we remind them of that.
We should have a pre-construction meeting before they start.
Okay.
Supposed to.
Okay, we're gonna go with we will. All right, any other questions?
On that transformer switch, what kind of responsibility does the engineer have for just not doing?
the
job.
same responsibility all engineers have, which is none. Every project I've ever seen except one, in my 40 years dealing with city stuff, when an engineer screws up, guess who pays for it?
We do.
We do. They don't carry insurance to cover stuff like that. No, I didn't know, and you know, I made a mistake, you know. I've seen it time and time again, they screw up.
Is that something we could need to look at or request from them or add into our contracts with them? Because I feel like that it happens all the time.
I can tell you the state engineering office, whatever their association is, would fight it tooth and toenail.
I understand.
About the
I mean-
only way that we do it is if they make a major flaw and, you know, negligence or something, we could sue them for that. But other than that, I just don't think there is.
I've said from day one, they should have to be bonded, just like everybody else is, but it seems to fall on deaf ears even when you go all the way up to the state level.
In the wrong line of work.
All right, well, if there's no other questions, we're going to move to the public hearing. So that means we have to clock it at 6:07. And I'm going to invite Pamela to come to the podium to the council members. I think everybody here has been at the meeting and has seen most of this.
Is this working? Yeah, sort of, kind of. Well, good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is the third time we reviewed this. We reviewed it at our work session, last meeting, and now the public hearing. And if you look, there's a couple highlights that I would like to point out. If you scroll down to page 3, it's not in the last prior one. The one that was emailed to you is more complete. And it's the debt transparency report. There'll be 2 notes that we're paying off during this budget year. That includes the chlorine water line, the lift station, the siren, and the airport runway. And the other one is the bucket truck, the backhoe, and the 2 lawnmowers. So that'll free up about $225,000 between both funds. Also, if you scroll down to the tax rate override on page 18, I'd like to point out to the council that in 2019, in 2020, and 2021, and 2022, our tax rate proposal was higher. We lowered it down in 2023, and we have kept steady the whole time for the last 4 years for our citizens. That means their tax property rate has stayed the same or went down for the last 4 years. That's a pretty big accomplishment. So good job. Excuse me. Also, a few little highlights in this budget. The water and wastewater and electricity utilities are now being expensed to all departments. That means that we are paying for the water that we're using and electricity that we're using. Also, per ordinance 2025, 2002, or 202, the water rates increased as of 5/1/2025. We estimated that to come in about $400,000 for the year, and I think we're gonna be pretty close to it. I've been running spreadsheets for the last 3 months, and the first 2 months, we only brought in 20,000 extra per month, but last month through July, it was over 40,000. So that'll help pay for some of the improvements and or repairs, because we have to repair in the water fund, the raw water pump also, and that's what that revenue was for, was repairs in the water pump in the water department. Also, in the water department, we're purchasing a pontoon boat. There's a slight increase in cost for distribution, and that includes pipe fitting, clamps, and fire hydrants. The electric department, there's a slight increase, and that's for cutting trees and trimming trees, contract labor. In the general fund, there's a very slight increase, as you've seen. Our total budget for both funds is $23 million. Well, it's 22.9, but really close to 23. There's a slight increase in the police department, and that is to IT service. There's a slight increase in fire department, and what that amounts to is your EMS supplies and protective clothing. That's the only increase in those two funds. Street department, we increased it for improvements. Park department, leased vehicles. Airport, because of a matching grant. And recreation department, Bert knows more about this than I do. The sand and filter for the pool. And community center, the camera systems. All in all, this budget is tight. Every department head did a wonderful job, I believe. There is a 3% salary increase for all employees, depending on the department head's discretion. Health insurance went up a little bit more than we anticipated, 11%. And our TML IRP for our property liability and our workman's comp, that went up 12%. And it's because of our payroll audit and our supplies and our buildings, replacement cost has went up. So the more vehicles we have, the higher our insurance is. And I'll answer any questions.
We went over pretty good, but it's like you said, it's the
I'm
third
good.
time, so.
Okay.
Do we have, let me ask you, are there any questions from the audience? Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. We will close the public hearing at 6:13.
Thanks, Pam.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so the next item on the agenda, oh, wait a minute. I gotta get back to this. Is the consent approval, consent agenda items. Your minutes are in the packet from the last regular meeting, July the 22nd. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Okay,
I'll
we're gonna
second.
go with. We're gonna go with Ashley, and then we're gonna go with Post. And my iPad has decided not to write, so call the vote, please.
Shaw.
Aye.
Truax.
Aye.
Ashley.
Aye.
Sproles.
Aye.
Post.
Aye.
And Walker.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is old business. Having none, we'll move forward to first new business item, 2025 tax rate. To record a vote on a proposal to consider a tax rate. The documents just showed that our tax rate was 54.3.
Correct.
54.30.
We'll collect $2,703,176 with that tax rate.
Our proposed collection. Oh, it's working now. Maybe you had it on. I think I had it on white. So I would entertain a motion to record the proposed tax rate at 54.3.
So moved.
Second.
Shaw,
Second.
Sproles, Truax, Ashley,
Aye.
Sproles,
Aye.
Walker, Post,
Aye.
and Shaw.
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is for us to schedule a public hearing on August the 26th, which I believe is our next scheduled meeting. So I'd entertain a motion to schedule that public hearing.
So moved.
Post, do I have a second?
Second.
Truax? Shaw?
Aye.
Ashley?
Aye.
Sproles?
Aye.
Post?
Aye.
Walker? Truax?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda is to consider a resale bid property at 802 East Clay, struck off the June 3rd, 2023 sheriff's sale. There is a whole story behind this. I'm going to let Bert present it to you.
This property was supposed to be sold on the courthouse steps, but nobody bid on it. And after the fact, which I'm checking the legality of this, after the fact, somebody came forward and offered $600 for the property. I don't think that's legal. That's in my book. But Purdue Brandon, who is our attorneys that collect all this stuff for us, sent us the letter with no explanation or whatsoever. There's another property that's being done the same way that we hadn't got the notice on. So before we vote to do this, in fact, I would hope that y'all would vote against it. It's my recommendation because we've got to do some research to see if this is legal to do. I don't know if it is. I went and looked at the property. It's a pile of junk. Luckily, we didn't go clean it up or anything because the backyard is a jungle, the front yard's a jungle. I think if Galen walked in the front yard, she'd be lost for days. So the grass is that high. The house is torn up and stuff. For $600, if that's all the guy could get out for, it'd be, you could make some money with it probably if you fixed it up yourself and stuff. But the legalities of how this came down is what I'm worried about, and I want to make sure that it's legal. And we're going to communicate with Purdue Brandon. I didn't know about how it came down until this afternoon, and I talked to a county commissioner and asked him about it, and he said, this is what happened. The guy came in later and offered the $600. So I just don't think it's legal after a courthouse steps auction to do that, so.
You found this out after we talked about it?
Do what?
After we had talked about this?
Yeah.
So doesn't he still have to pay the taxes that are owed on it?
Yes, that's correct.
And the $600?
Yeah.
But here's the problem that I want to elaborate here. David told us today that in normal practice, it would come back to us. And so he released the liens on it that we had on it. So now we have released all of our liens that we had on it, and the $600 wouldn't cover that. Under normal circumstances, we would take this property and we would take it over and put it on an auction block with a private entity. We have a better chance of making more money off of it. I don't think any one of us want to be the decision maker on taking a check from somebody and just saying, okay, that's what we'll do. We still want to find out from Purdue and Brandon why they submitted this and why a $600 check was submitted to the Commissioners Court.
But don't we have to split? Bert and I talked, and he said
Yes.
we split the $600 with the school and the county.
Yes.
So
So
don't they
there's
have a
3
say, too?
entities on there, and that's
Have they all
$600.
released it?
As far as we know, the only people that have shown any interest in it so far is the county in taking that $600. Well, there's 2 more entities, and we don't want to be a yes.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why I questioned it to begin with.
yeah.
I also check all these places pretty regularly, and it would surprise me to hear that I missed more than one of it being posted, you know, where it's properly supposed to be. So, not saying it couldn't happen, but
Yeah, there's, if it's supposed to go before in a process, which is an auction on the courthouse steps, I don't think we want to change that here. That's not up to us to change. So I definitely don't want to be a part of this. But so because it made our agenda, we will have to vote on it. So I would consider a motion to or not to accept the bid regarding the 802 Clay property.
Well, I'll make a motion not to accept this.
Ashley for no. Walker? Shaw?
no.
Truax?
No.
Ashley?
No.
Sproles?
No.
Post? No. Walker? Great, thank you. When we have an update on it, Bert will send you an update, but
Okay.
Yes, I mean,
Right, y'all did that wrong, because the motion was to not accept it.
So it
they
should have been
need-
yes.
If they want to not accept it, you're gonna have to say yes. You agree with the motion?
isn't that what we did?
No, they went against
Move
it.
it back.
Get backwards.
Okay, so
We weren't paying
our
attention.
motion is to not accept it.
Right.
We
Yes.
just let it die for lack of a second.
And we already got a second. So modify your motion,
Okay.
Ashley, to not
Yes.
accept the bid.
Yes.
Do I have a
Not-
second on that with Walker? Okay. Right? To not accept the bid,
Right.
yes.
So we still have to say yes.
Still have to say yes to not accept it. Right.
All at once, everybody say yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all those opposed?
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, we'll keep you up to date as to what happens
Sorry
next.
about that.
I was just more interested in us not getting in trouble.
That's right. We're all on board.
All right, the next item on the agenda is Resolution 2025-24. You can make your way to the podium, sir. A resolution between the City of Bowie Municipal Airport and the Texas Department of Transportation for Project CSJ 26 AL Bowie, updating the master plan, airport layout plan, and AGIS obstruction survey. That's a
Good evening.
mouthful.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before I begin, I'd kind of put y'all another little packet together that you should have a letter of intent in there and a copy of one of the emails back and forth with the TxDOT guy.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll go over that. I want to hand you this out. It's kind of, want to give y'all a brief description of what this actually is so you understand it a little better.
Is this for the fence?
No, this is for a master plan.
Oh.
Thanks.
All right, so just briefly on this, like I said, that gives you an explanation of what a airport master plan and obstruction survey entails. So basically what happened, I briefly spoke about this probably last year, I believe, and we were hoping, TxDOT and us were hoping we wouldn't have to address this until 2027 or 2028. But in the email that they had sent, they are afraid that we're going to lose those funds, because even though those funds are distributed down through the FAA, these funds were, what they call IIJA money, that was allocated in 2021. It goes through the FAA, and then you have to request those funds, and then it comes from the FAA down to the state levels. Aviation is now saying they're concerned that if we don't use the money now, they're gonna pull the money, and FAA is gonna use it for their projects. So with that being said, we have $426,000 sitting in this fund. It's a 95-5, so they'll pay 95% and we'll pay 5%. It's, again, very detailed process. Like I said, they'll basically resurvey the whole airport, document everything that's on the airport. They'll do, they may or may not do, or they basically will hire someone and they'll fly the approaches. That will be determined by the engineers when they start that. The average cost right now, according to the engineers, to do one of these extensive surveys and plans is running around $375,000 to $425,000. So we're good. We think we're going to be good and not go over that. Actually, I think we're going to come under. So again, with that being said, it will cost us the 5%. Really, that's so. When TxDOT, the airport planner, Dakota Shaw, reached out to me, what I had to do was send him a letter of intent saying that we want to use those funds. And then I had Bert and Galen sign it, and that moves the process up. And then we have to do the resolution to get it to go to their commission to get it on the books so we don't lose the money.
So basically, we're earmarking the money.
Right.
We're telling them we want it.
Right. So if we spend the whole $426,000, we got to come up with $22,000. It's one of those deals, if every 10 years you have to do an update on your master plan, we're at 12 years. And I convinced them a couple years ago to when the individual built a hangar and we did the fuel system to let us pencil in the changes, but now they're coming back and saying we need to go ahead and update everything. If you do not have an updated plan, they have a right to refuse you any future funding. So I would just hate to lose the $426,000.
And not only that, the future funding for any improvements we can make.
Absolutely.
Right.
So does everybody understand what he's saying? Yep. We need to say earmark the money for us, save it, we're going to spend it.
Do we have 22,000 laying around?
And it's just for the
We
plan.
will by the time then that happens. I'll make sure.
Bert assured me that we can handle it.
So
This
when,
is not gonna happen overnight. It's
yeah, I was gonna, that's what I was about to ask. When do you think this would
Yeah,
start?
next year's budget probably.
Yes, so TxDOT's moving pretty quick. I explained to them that I was going to get in on tonight's council meeting. I have a Zoom meeting with them on September the 2nd. And they need this to go to commission, I'll make sure I get this. They have to have this to commission by 10/27 of this year. So yes, it'll fall into next year. And with TxDOT, I'm 8 months behind on our fence project, so nothing moves fast with them.
All right, so let me see if I can get this right this time. We're going to ask for a motion for a resolution between the City of Bowie Municipal Airport and Texas Department of Transportation for project CSJ number 26AL Bowie, updating the master plan, airport layout plan, and AGIS obstruction survey. Do I have a motion?
You do. I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ashley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Post. Sproles, Shaw,
Aye.
Truax, Walker, Post,
Aye.
Ashley.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is public comments. Do I have any public comments from the public?
I have one. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but previous city manager James Cantwell had passed away. I think the funeral is scheduled for next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the next Wednesday, at the Presbyterian Church.
2 o'clock.
I just wanted to, at 2 o'clock,
2 o'clock.
wanted
City
everybody
Hall
to know
will
that.
close for it.
Anyway, I want everybody to know, if you didn't know.
All right, and if that's it, then I will adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:28. Thank you very much.